Okay, the next item would be review and approval of a proposal for the WASB Delegate Assembly.
I communicated with you during the week just to see if you had any suggestions for resolutions that you would like to go forward. We're under a deadline, unfortunately, because WSB needs those resolutions prior to September 15th. And last year, even though you approved, we had approval, but we weren't getting formal approval until the Monday after, even though you had verbally said, yes, you'll support that. WSB did not accept the resolution, although they took the idea and created their own. So President McMullen and I had talked a little bit, and we thought perhaps the issue of the commencement of fall classes would be a topic to consider. So I put together a resolution. I don't know if you feel that the wording should be different, but I thought to put a different twist on it, either repealing the current statute that doesn't allow us to start school until September 1st, or creating that additional waiver that if there's a group of school districts in a region of the state that agree to a start date and an end date, that DPI be allowed to provide a waiver to that group of school districts.
Yeah, just to elaborate again for anyone who might be listening or isn't familiar with this, we cannot begin until September 1st. We've been discussing in our flexible calendar year committee different options, and one of the calendars that we came up with was having a calendar that started before September 1st, but because of that state law, that's not an option. And the only exception to that are for charter schools that are using a truly, what they consider truly a year-round calendar, not just sort of a modified calendar. So this seemed like something that we've been looking at, and it's an issue of state law, so it seemed to lend itself to one of these WASB resolutions, because these are things that typically, if they get passed by the WASB committees, then they get attention at the state legislature. It's no guarantee that it gets passed, but they get more attention. So I don't know if anyone has any thoughts on this, or if there were some other proposals that anyone wants to add at this time.
I make a motion to approve this one to send forward. I think you did a good job writing it, and it'll be tweaked if there's anything that's not in there that the committee thinks should be in there.
It will be vetted.
It will be vetted, yes, very, very heavily.
Yes, it will.
So I appreciate you taking the time to put this together so we meet the deadline and address an issue that we see needs to be looked at in the future. And we have done the speech pathologist one for the last couple years, and maybe we'll make some progress down the road with that one, but we'll give her a try at this one here.
I will second that. Can I just ask, though, the last sentence in the rationale, at the very end, by their constituents with a start date earlier than September 1st should be allowed? I'll just take a word out and see what she thinks.
Okay, take the word "this" out.
Yeah, and make it,
And the
instead of
comma.
an A. So construction of school districts.
So you would just take out the comma and this, and the word "this," right?
Well, make the word "and" just A.
Yes.
With a start date.
Oh, with a start
Yes.
date earlier than September
A
1st.
start
Yeah,
date
and
earlier.
you
Should
probably
be
don't
allowed.
need the comma.
Should be allowed. Okay, yes.
But no, it was very
Really
well
well
written, and that was an interesting idea on the consortium. I don't know if that was something that you were getting as feedback when you were talking to other administrators that,
Right, well, we do have a committee of superintendents in the area. You may have read the article in the lacrosse paper. They interviewed Dale Carlson from Holman, but Holman, Onalaska, West Salem, Sparta, Galesville. We have been meeting trying to figure out how we can promote a change in that law. And I think you're aware that Alberta Darling, along with Representative Ott, did submit a bill to eliminate the start date, but from what we're hearing, that was maybe not really done with any intent to see a change. It's been sent to the Tourism Committee, where apparently it will probably die a quick death. So we feel like we have to keep pushing the issue, that it's not something that perhaps is being looked at seriously by legislators.
and yeah, maybe it's not getting any traction in the assembly, but you know, you're talking with the other administrators, and in the latest issue of like the WASB newsletter, they had a couple of editorials that had been written suggesting that this would be a positive change. I mean, look, school districts should be able to decide something like this locally. So it's getting a little bit of attention.
They've been saying that since the law was brought into inception back in the early to mid-90s.
Yeah, it's been about 10 years.
This is all driven from the Wisconsin Delta perspective and tourism, if you go back on the history of it. Good, bad, or indifferent, that's what it is. And it was not well received when it was put in, and it has not been well received to this date.
Well, still worth pushing.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you for drafting that, Cindy. So, Judy, did you make a motion?
I did.
And
I seconded.
we have a second. Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any other comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, say no. The ayes have it, the motion carries, and so that proposal for a WASB delegate assembly is approved.